What's going on, everyone? So in our last video we actually got to start up the Travelall, get it at the temp. I drove it to the shop, built the exhaust for it, and I was able to put some miles on it. Now since then I did a couple things, but I only have one day this week where I'm able to work on this thing out here, and this ain't gonna be the most exciting video. Some of the stuff I've noticed already from driving it, giving it a little shakedown. We're gonna start addressing some small things and do a couple other things. I don't know, I wrote a list of stuff I could do today, so let's get started. So like I said, this won't be the most exciting video, but I started working on it and I decided I better make you guys a video because this is my only chance this week. So you're gonna have to follow along with this. Let me show you what I'm messing with up first. So I have this idler pulley off the tensioner here, and when that thing's tightened up all the way and when the belt's on all the way, the belt really rides this leading edge pretty close right there. I just want to be able to space this out a little bit, so I have a thick washer here and I drilled it out to be able to slip over there. So that's the first thing we're going to do is space this out. So also, the other day, I took and I charged the AC on this thing. I took it back up to a Kaiser's. Aaron, the owner, he's very sharp when it comes to stuff like that. For me, I'd have to look at the charts and try to get the pressures right and all that, and he just knows the stuff. So I just took it up there, had him pretty much do it. And the AC's ice cold in this thing. It's awesome, front and rear. So after I charged the AC the next day, I actually noticed it has a little squeal to the belt, which I can't tell where it's coming from. I don't know if it's the belt or one of these pulleys, but I definitely want to figure that out because I hate listening to belt squeal. So that spaced it out quite a bit. It's pretty close to the rear now, but there's still pulley hanging out the back. If I fire it up and it's too much, we'll split the difference with a different size washer, one not so thick. So I'm sure you noticed the math is gone. My buddy Tyler was letting me use his from his Tahoe to be able to drive this thing around. He needed it back. Honestly, I was hoping today or tomorrow I was gonna be able to have the tuner come and we're gonna make the LS7 style mouth work that goes in the intake tube, but now he can't make it here for not this coming up Friday, that's in a couple days, but the following Friday after that. So to be able to drive this thing around, we need to get a MAF on it for sure. So luckily I know a few people and it wasn't that hard to find another MAF to be able to run. This is an extra one a guy had, so I don't have to worry about returning it to him before the tuner can come. And since I know this will be on here about a week and a half or so, I'm going to turn it where it's not so obnoxious like I had it the other day, pointing straight up. Let's see if we can get away with it right there. This wire right here, if you remember, I told you guys I can ground out the relays, the coils for the relays for the fans with this to be able to turn them on. I haven't had to do that since running the air conditioning, just from them cycling. It's kept the motor cool, but just in case, I'm gonna leave that for now. I hate how it looks, but better safe than sorry kind of thing. I think I can wait another week before I clip it off. That's good. The other day, as soon as I was firing it up, it'd be squealing. So I don't know if we fixed it. The problem may come back. Who knows? We won't know until we drive it more. But it's running good. Fired up with that MAF, no problem. So now we can move on, start checking stuff off this list. All right, last little thing I did there, I went around and I checked all my hoses and lines and stuff to see if anything was chafing, rubbing on anything, and the power steering lines that are going up to the power steering cooler at the front, they were just touching the edge of the bracket that I added that holds the relays for the fans and headlights. So I just put a little chafe wrap there and zip tied them together. That way that stuff will hold in place. Probably would have never been a problem, but better safe than sorry. Probably my #1 pet peeve of driving this thing right now is not being able to turn sharp. I'm good on level ground, but if it's on any kind of angle, we're rubbing bad. Now this thing does have like a good 1-inch lip in here that we can roll, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm having to jack it up and get this off the ground to try to roll that, because with it tucking tire, I can't even get anything in between there. Old Faithful here. When you're doing this, you're putting leverage against your tire and pushing back, and as you roll, you don't want to give it everything you got, because you'll push your fender out and you could crease it. You're working it back and forth, and the rolling motion and slight pressure will slowly bring that lip up and over. This side's been a little bit of pain because I did try to do it with the smaller end with it on the ground the other day, and in the metal I created a couple kinks where some of it gave and some of it didn't, but we can keep working it back and forth and we'll get it. You can see how that starts to roll up. Haven't really changed nothing out here, messed it up any, which is always the goal. I am having to use hammers and smack that pretty good. Those fenders are tough. We're gonna check this light. I put brand new holders in these things, light bulb holders. Kept the same buckets, just bought some from O'Reilly's and tacked them in place. But this one, the running light and the blinkers cutting in and out at night, I can reach up in there and shake on the wires and it'll come on. So we're gonna see if we can figure out what's going on there. So that bulb feels better in there now. This white wire goes down to a little spring-loaded kind of prong in there, and that piece was bent up. I pulled it up out of there, put it back into shape and put it in. So hopefully this will fix our problem. Both lights are working. I kind of wiggled on it on the back. They didn't cut out, so hopefully that's good to go now. When you do a project this big where you're rewiring a whole vehicle, you're swapping out drivetrain, you're building suspension, I mean, you're just doing everything. You know, I built all the brakes for it, all this little crap. That's why you do your shakedown, guys. You're gonna find a bunch of little stuff, and don't let it discourage you. It's part of it. Big shops have the same problems, I promise you. Whew. All right, so I just finished smacking all the lips on the fenders. Ended up being a lot of hammering. I smacked about every bit of it. If I could get it smacked up, I did. How many times did I just say smack? Before I put this thing back down on the ground, I want to go through and bleed the brakes again after driving it. I did bleed it myself, and it was a little redneck. So here's why I said it was a little redneck. All I did was take a pickle jar, and you put one hose down a little further than the other one. The one that's down further, you hook up to your bleeder. It needs to be sealed off. And then this one you can hook up to a vacuum pump. If you don't have a vacuum pump, I first started doing it with a shop vac because I forgot I had a vacuum pump here. It's not my vacuum pump, I'm just borrowing it. So I started pulling it with a shop vac, and on my truck when I bled it myself, I actually hooked this thing up to the vacuum off the motor and let the motor sit there and idle and let it pull vacuum. My beautiful assistant, everybody.
Oh, God. Thanks.
A round of applause, everybody. We got a bow. Thank you. Love you. One of the last things that's really bothering me is the gas gauge is not working. So I'm gonna see if I can figure that out. We could have a few things causing this. So I'm gonna just troubleshoot it some real quick and then I'll show y'all what I find. The tan wire right there is the one that goes up to the gauge, and that's right where it comes from out of the loom. I snipped it right there, hooked up that red wire to it just so I could go down here, red wires to there, that blue wire is going off our ground, and I can finally control the gas gauge. So right there with it about halfway, we should be reading half a tank, and we got half a tank. So let's go change it to full. Take the float all the way towards the top. And we should have a full tank of gas now. Ta-da! So what that means is somewhere in this wire, which is where I snipped this side from the wiring harness, where that red wire's tied, and this end had the terminal on it and bolts to the sender. And somewhere in between here the wire's bad. I do see a little crush spot right there. Of course, we have one connection that is soldered in between there. And then this end, looks like the wire's been rubbed or pulled some. So either way, this little bit of wire here is our problem. I'm gonna replace it with another piece, and hopefully our gas gauge is good to go. I know this ain't a big update, just working out a few bugs, but the main one being, like I said, I like that. I like having my gas gauge. I have drove it some more, or driven it. I don't know. My English is terrible. The fenders are good. I can turn sharp going over bumps and everything. No more rubbing. So, you know, the back's not squeaking near as bad. It still is, but everything back here is brand new. So it's going to take a little bit of breaking in. A lot more than just going up and down the road a few times. So progress is progress. I can't get a lot done on my 2 days off. Today's Mama's birthday, so I better get in there and quit making this video before my butt gets in trouble. So if you guys are new to the channel, please check out some of the videos where we build this thing. If you guys always come back, I want to thank you for coming and watching my videos. If you're on Instagram, I'm on there at Puddin's Fab Shop. If y'all want to help me out, all you gotta do is drop a comment down below, like the video, share, subscribe. The channel's steadily growing, so I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I'll see you guys next time. But don't forget, sitting on your ass won't finish your project. I think it's about time to buff this thing, patina sauce the rust, and throw the center caps on. What do you guys think? A pickle jar.